The Equatorial Guinea national football team, nicknamed Nzalang Nacional, is the national team of Equatorial Guinea and is controlled by the Federación Ecuatoguineana de Fútbol. It is a member of Confederation of African Football. Though Equatorial Guinea has traditionally been one of the lowest-ranked teams in Africa, the recent influx of Spanish-born players of Equatoguinean heritage has strengthened the national team and resulted in some solid performances. They qualified as co-hosts for the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations. The hosting of the tournament led to the construction of two new football stadia in the country, Estadio de Bata in Bata on the mainland, and Estadio de Malabo in Malabo. The national team managed a creditable fourth place at the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations, which also organized. History: Equatorial Guinea played its first match on May 23, 1975 against China in a friendly and lost 6-2. They did not play another game until entering the 1985 UDEAC Cup in December 1985. They were drawn in a group against the hosts Congo and Central African Republic. They lost 5-0 to the Congo on December 9 and then earned their first draw by drawing 1-1 against the Central African Republic on December 14. On December 16 they played a play-off for fifth place against Chad, and lost 3-2 on penalties after a 1-1 draw. Equatorial Guinea would come in fourth in the 1987 UDEAC Cup, losing on penalties in the third-place match to Gabon, even though they only scored one goal throughout the tournament in a 1-1 draw against Chad. They also drew 0-0 against Cameroon. On their next try, they got sixth place after losing on penalties against the Central African Republic. The next time Equatorial Guinea played the Central African Republic, in 1999, they won, 4-2. It was Equatorial Guinea's first win. In the late 2000s, their Federación Ecuatoguineana de Fútbol along with the FAR copyright DAO copyright Ration Gabonese de Football announced a bid to host the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations, against bids from other African nations including Angola, Libya and Nigeria. Equatorial Guinea and Gabon won the right to host the games, and two new stadiums were built in Equatorial Guinea, Estadio de Bata in Bata and Novo Estadio de Malabo in Malabo. The first game in the 2012 African Cup of Nations was Equatorial Guinea's first in a major international tournament, and resulted in a historic 1-0 win over Libya January 21, 2012 in the opening game of the tournament. An 87th minute strike from former Real Madrid winger Javier Balboa earned the victory. In the next game they secured qualification to the quarter-finals by beating Senegal 2-1, and finished second in their group after losing 0-1 to Zambia. They progressed to the quarter-finals where they were eliminated by the tournament's runners-up Ivory Coast after losing to the Elephants 3-0 thanks to goals from Didier Drogba and Yaya Toure copyright. Various national side players were praised due to their performances in the tournament. Among these players were Javier Balboa, Randy, Ben Konata copyright and Rui, the latter was part of the team of the tournament. 3 years later, Equatorial Guinea organized again African Cup of Nations. On this occasion, to replace Morocco, which was the original host. In the opener, drew 1-1 against Congo, with Emilio Nsue opening the scoring. In the second game, they came back to tie, being now a 0-0 against Burkina Faso, who were the runners-up at the previous edition. With these two results, then Nzalang Nacional had to win to his classic rival Gabon in the third match to obtain the qualification to the quarter-finals. Then, Equatorial Guinea won by 2-0 with goals from Javier Balboa and Ibn. Group A's runner-up, the Equatoguinean national team defeated 2-1 to Tunisia with 2 goals from Javier Balboa, the first being a penalty kick in the final moments of regular time and the second in the extra time. In the semi-final they lost 0-3 to Ghana, while in the match for third place drew 0-0 against Dr. Congo and lost to them 2-4 on penalties, finishing the tournament in fourth place, being its best international participation and reaching a historical 49th position of the FIFA World Rankings. Naturalized players controversy. In recent years, Equatorial Guinea has courted controversy by recruiting foreign players and giving them citizenship despite having little or no ties to the country. In 2009, South African journalist and FIFA archivist Mark Gleeson wrote that it was undermining the integrity of African football. In late 2005 and at the request of ruler Enobangen Nsue, a son of President Teodoro Obiang, Brazilian coach Antonio Dumas recruited several Brazilian players to represent the Equatorial Guinea, but CAF and FIFA turned a blind eye, despite complaints from other nations. In 2012, having lost the first leg of a 2013 Africa Cup of Nations qualification round 4-0 to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea recruited 9 Brazilian players to help overturn the deficit for the second leg. The team did manage to win the match 2-1, but it was not enough to overturn the aggregate and Equatorial Guinea were eliminated from the tournament. Democratic Republic of the Congo head coach Claude Leroy complained that the Equatorial Guinea were acting like the United Nations of football. Before the arrival of new coach Andoni Goicoecheta Malabo, in March 2013, the Equatoguinean board made the squad for the 2014 FIFA World Cup qualifying match against Cape Verde and called 9 Brazilian players again. In May 2013, they joined Colombian-born Ecuadorian-based Jimmy Bermudez, to who was going to pay him $3,000 for each match he plays. During qualifying African Cup of Nations 2015 on the series played against Mauritania, they lost 1-0 away and won 3-0 in Malabo as hosts, sorting to the next round to face Uganda's national team. However, the Mauritanian Football Federation demands before the CAF for the inclusion of ineligible players to play with Nzalang Nacional, resulting in the expulsion of the Equatorial Guinean team, based on the particular situation of Thierry Fidou, while the cases of the other players remain under investigation. Home stadium. Equatorial Guinea's home stadium is Novo Estadio de Malabo in Malabo. It can hold up to 15,250 people. Equatorial Guinea played there when they hosted the 2012 African Cup of Nations. During their participation in the tournament, he played in this stadium against eventual winner Zambia and runners-up the Ivory Coast. During the national side's participation in the 2012 African Cup of Nations, they also played in the newly constructed Estadio de Bata, in which they played and won both their games in the stadium against Libya and Senegal. Kit and colors. Equatorial Guinea wears a red and white uniform. The kit manufacturer is Hummel. When they play in Equatorial Guinea, they wear a solid red jersey and matching shorts with a white stripe around both sleeves and 2 white stripes from the hip down. The number, Figuafart logo, and Hummel logo are located on the chest. The socks are red with white at the top. When Equatorial Guinea is away, they wear the opposite. All-white shirt with red stripes. Achievements, CEMAC Cup, 1. 2006. World Cup record 1930 to 1998 did not enter, 2002 to 2018 did not qualify. Africa Cup of Nations record denotes draws include knockout matches decided on penalty kicks. Gold background color indicates that the tournament was won. Red border color indicates tournament was held on home soil. Results and fixtures. The following matches were played or are scheduled to be played by the national team in the current or upcoming seasons. Players. Current squad. The following players were named to the squad for the November 2015 World Cup qualifiers against Morocco. Caps and goals are correct as of November 15, 2015, after match against Morocco. The matches non-recognized by FIFA are not included. Recent call-ups. The following Equatoguinean players have been called up for the team in the last 12 months. Notes: Ariti, retired from the national team. References. External links: Federación Ecuatoguineana de Fútbol, Equatorial Guinea at FIFA.com.